checking its baggage. Alaska Airlines out with a warning in its earnings report with delays with delays in deliveries, it now projects capacity growth to be at or below the lower end of its previously projected range. The airline company saying the current grounding of the 737 MAX 9 will cost them $150 million. For more on the state of airlines, we're joined by Mike Boyd, Boyd Group International President. Mike, we've gotten a wave of airline earnings to start off this earnings season. It kicked off with Delta. Ed Bastian told us they don't have, any kind of exposure to the Dash 9, but of course they do have orders for the Dash 10. We do know that this warning that's come out from Alaska, as well as what United has said, certainly catching investors' attention here. Which of these airlines do you believe is best positioned to maneuver some of the issues that we're seeing coming out of the Boeing MAX 9?
Well, being isolated more from the Boeing issue right now is American and also Delta to some degree. But right now today, like for example, Southwest Airlines, over half of its 545 airplanes on order, 300 are Dash 7s. And they're going to be materially delayed. They're out of the program for the coming year. That's going to be a big hit for them because they don't have any replacements for those. And that means they're going to have to keep older airplanes on lease, things like that. That's a bad one. But United Airlines, they have about 700 MAX derivatives on order right now, 700. And the Dash 10 is the biggest one. They've been banking on that, and that's now out of the program. So we're going to be looking at a very bumpy year because these airlines, a number of them, aren't going to have the airplanes to put into the sky.
So, Mike, what do you think the developments of today, what does that tell us then about the ultimate impact that we could see from all of this?
Oh, it goes all through the entire economy. I mean, you already had Alaska start to pull down some flying to small communities because they had to redistribute their fleet. They have airplanes on order that aren't going to come. They're going to have to do something about that. So all the way down, even to place, it goes not just Seattle and not just Chicago, but Kalispell is going to get hit with this. And then all the small suppliers, you got a big Boeing operation in Helena, Montana. That's going to be affected as well. So what Boeing has done, which is, I think, totally incompetent with this, is going to hurt the entire economy.
Totally incompetent. Those are extreme words there, Mike. I mean, we've heard from some of the CEOs. What are you seeing in terms of the shift, perhaps, in how CEOs are thinking about their future relationships with the company?
Well, when you have United Airlines, the biggest customer, now saying we got to find somebody else, and they might be able to do it. Boeing's dance card, or the dance card at Airbus is full until 2030 for narrow bodies, but they're going to be looking. So when you have this number of your customers ticked off, yeah, that's incompetent. You can't give it any other excuse, especially in light of the other things that have happened at Boeing. And I'm just not really confident with some of the responses that Calhoun has made, very honestly, because he got him into this.
Do you think that leads to then, because now that would potentially mean we see the second CEO changeover in 6 years for the company?
Yeah, they may have to do. I don't know where the board of directors is. I mean, you have their biggest customer, United, ticked off. You have Southwest, another big customer, ticked off, and badly hurt financially as a result of this. Again, taking all this together, I'm just wondering whether they really need to take a bulldozer to the front office and rethink things.
How likely? Is that something that you think is even up for discussion right now? And walk us through, I guess, exactly how that could potentially here play out.
Well, you'd have to have a quiet revolt, or maybe even less of a quiet revolt at the board of directors level if the stock keeps dropping and if the future of the company looks dim. Right now, as I said, United have really ticked at them, and United has the horsepower to maybe go to Airbus. They only have about 200 Airbuses on order, but when you have 700 Maxes on order of different types, they got power, and I think they may walk away. I don't know. To some degree, they may walk.
Mike, just lastly, while we have you, you mentioned those earnings that we saw come out from Southwest, and we've been monitoring the reaction in shares of LUV here this morning, at least as of right now on the Yahoo Finance platform with about 10 minutes to go until the start of trade. Looks like they're holding on to some gains here. Anything that jumps out to you from that report about the consumer or some of the other labor kind of negotiations that they are moving through and towards as well in the flight attendants case?
Well, you hit on the head here. The new pilot contract at SWAPA is going to be 50% by the end of by the time it becomes amendable again. Flight attendants going to be looking for the same thing. So we haven't really worked that into that because that's going to change where Southwest can fly, how they can fly, what their economics are to places like Hawaii and things like that. So they're going to address that. And I don't think that's been looked at hard enough by the folks on Wall Street yet.
Are they able to still be a profitable, low-cost carrier with some of the new negotiations?
Well, they can be profitable. They're not really a low-cost carrier. They just do a very good job, and people like me fly them because they do a damn good job. But overall, very often, their competition can even be lower. They're just a good airline, and that's what keeps them alive. It isn't fares.
Your precious cargo, Mike. Precious cargo.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, Mike, always great to get your insight, especially on a day like today. Mike Boyd, Boyd Group International President. Thanks.
Thank you.